When someone gives you an ultimatum in love, it's never really about love. It's about control. I remember that night like a scar etched into memory. She sat across from me in the dim restaurant light, eyes cold but steady, her voice trembling just enough to sound sincere. "If you don't propose by Valentine's Day," she said, "I'll go back to my ex." For a moment, I just stared, trying to process whether I'd heard her right. It wasn't the words that cut. It was the calm certainty behind them, as if she'd already made up her mind. We'd been together almost 2 years. I thought we were building something real. Surviving fights, long-distance weeks, late-night confessions, even a few broken promises. I thought those moments meant something. But that night I realized I wasn't standing on love anymore. I was standing on conditions. She didn't want commitment. She wanted proof of control. And that's when I felt it. The slow, painful shift. I wasn't loved for who I was. I was loved for what I could give her to soothe her insecurities. I didn't argue. I didn't plead. I just nodded, finished my drink and said, "All right. Valentine's Day it is." Inside something broke, not because of her words but because I already knew my answer. Valentine's Day came faster than I expected. She was radiant, red dress, perfect curls, laughter a little too rehearsed. Candles flickered between us at the same restaurant where it had all begun. Every glance she cast toward my jacket pocket betrayed her anticipation. "Do you have something to tell me?" she asked, soft but sharp. I looked at her. Really looked at the woman I once thought I'd spend forever with. And in that moment I realized I wasn't nervous or sad. I was calm. I had made peace with the truth long before this night. I reached into my jacket and pulled out a small box, placing it on the table. Her breath caught. When she opened it, there was no ring, only a folded note. Her hands trembled as she read it. It said, "Love shouldn't need deadlines. If you have to threaten to lose me to realize my worth, then you've already lost me." She froze. The restaurant noise faded, replaced by the quiet collapse of everything we'd built. Disbelief, anger, and something that looked like regret crossed her face. "I never meant it like that," she whispered, but we both knew she did. I stood, chair scraping against the floor, a sharp sound slicing through the silence. She reached for my hand, but I stepped back. There was no anger in me, only a quiet understanding that some endings don't need closure, just acceptance. "You could have just proposed," she said, voice breaking. "Why make it this hard?" I smiled faintly. "Because love shouldn't be earned through pressure. It should be offered through peace." Her eyes glistened, but she didn't chase me. Maybe she finally realized what I had months ago. She didn't love me. She loved the idea of being chosen, and I wasn't going to give her that power anymore. Outside, the cold February air hit me like a wake-up call. For the first time in a long time, I breathed freely. I didn't have a fiancé, but I had something better, my self-respect. Weeks later, I heard she went back to her ex. Maybe she found comfort in something familiar. Maybe. But as for me, I moved on, not bitter, not broken, just wiser. Because love born from fear will always end in resentment. And love that demands a deadline was never real to begin with. Sometimes the most romantic thing you can do isn't propose. It's walk away when love becomes a negotiation. That night, as I left the restaurant behind me, I realized I hadn't lost her. She had lost the one man ready to love her without conditions.